Tucker Carlson says, there are forces that are not human existing in a spiritual realm we cannot see. Of course, they are not human, they are angelic. We have angelic forces around us we cannot see. We have saints around us we cannot see, but we also have demonic entities around us we cannot see. Tucker Carlson believes that the U.S. government entered into some agreement with entities who are thought to be aliens, who are not extraterrestrial but have always been present on Earth and may be spiritual. On Timcast IRL podcast, Carlson discussed the idea that there are non-human forces influencing human behavior, suggesting that these forces might exist in a spiritual realm. He mentions that many people refer to these beings as dimensional beings, but expresses uncertainty about labeling them as angels or demons. Carlson reflects on how people are influenced by good and evil forces beyond themselves, and he asserts that everyone, if introspective, can recognize these external influences. He also touches on the idea that creativity, particularly in art, might be driven by forces outside the individual, which artists often describe as channeling. Carlson implies that both positive and destructive acts are likely the result of these external spiritual forces acting upon people. So there are forces, they are not human, that do exist in a spiritual realm of some kind that we cannot see, and that when you think about it, sort of make you think we live in an ant farm, he says. And recently Tucker Carlson said he was physically mauled by a demon a year and a half ago in an assault that he says left him bleeding with scars from claw marks. That's what happened to me. I had a direct experience with it, Carlson said. Asked if he was referring to journalism, Carlson responded, no, in my bed at night. I got attacked while I was asleep with my wife and 4 dogs and physically mauled, he said. Carlson, who said he still bears the scars, said his assailant was a demon, he said, or by something unseen that left claw marks on my sides. This is what he said at the time of the attack. He was sleeping in bed. He says, I was totally confused. I woke up and couldn't breathe, and I thought I was going to suffocate, he said. I walked around outside, and then I walked in, and my wife and dog had woken up, and they're very light sleepers. And then I had these terrible pains on my rib cage and on my shoulder, and I was just in my boxer shorts, and I went and flipped on the light in the bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on either side underneath my arms and on my left shoulder, and they're bleeding, he said. And he added that he explained the encounter to an assistant, an evangelical Christian, who told him that happens, people are attacked in their beds by demons. Carlson, who lived in the woods of Maine, did not say where the attack occurred, but it called it a transformative experience that left him seized with this very intense desire to read the Bible. In his 1969 book, Passport to Magonia, on UFOs, folklore, and parallel worlds, astronomer and UFO researcher Jacques Vallée argues for a parallel universe coexisting with our own. The idea was reiterated in Vallée's subsequent writings. He summarized its objective in his 1990 paper, 5 Arguments Against Extraterrestrial Origin of Unidentified Flying Objects. He says, 1, unexplained close encounters are far more numerous than required for any physical survey of the Earth. 2, the humanoid body structure of the alleged aliens is not likely to have originated on another planet and is not biologically adapted to space travel. 3, the reported behavior in thousands of abduction reports contradicts the hypothesis of genetic or scientific experimentation on humans by an advanced race. 4, the extension of the phenomenon throughout recorded human history demonstrates that UFOs are not a contemporary phenomenon. 5, the apparent ability of UFOs to manipulate space and time suggests radically different and richer alternatives. And there are the jinn. In an interview with Whitley Strieber, former CIA officer, Jim Semivan says he referred to the UFO UAP, and alien phenomenon as jinn. He does not mention that in a religious way, credibility to the interdimensional hypothesis. And this phenomenon does not lie to you, and it is very deceitful at times. The phenomenon does lie to you. It will tell you things that sound wonderful, but also make no sense. And it's toying with us, or it's using some kind of symbols that we don't understand. And I refer to them as jinn because, in Arab culture, they're sort of like us, or they're made of quote unquote fire or ether or whatever, but they also have the same kind of emotions, but there's good jinn and there's bad jinn, he said. Dr. Carla Turner claimed that there are entities who can take our consciousness out of our physical body, disable or control over our bodies, install one of their own entities, and use our bodies as vehicles for their own activities before returning our consciousness to our bodies. And she passed away from cancer within a year after her work was published. Her extensive research into the subject reveals that aliens manipulate perception, control consciousness, cause unexplained illnesses and mental decline, and engage in gruesome activities in underground facilities. Her findings highlighted the alarming physical, psychological, and spiritual consequences faced by abductees, raising questions about the true nature and intentions of these extraterrestrial encounters. In her book Taken, Carla Turner discussed the idea that some prominent abduction theorists state should be avoided. Do not think of aliens as good and evil. And Turner claims that this cannot be done, nor should it be done. And she's continued that those who had been abducted have the right to know that their participation would be used by their abductors. Under what circumstances and what reason would the abducted be made a part of this agenda, since they have been implanted, trained, and programmed to participate in some future scenario? Don't abductees have the right to know for what purpose our minds, bodies, and souls will be used? Dr. Turner's main concern regarding alien abductions were the aliens' cruelty towards abductees, both physical and mental. Victims experience traumatic events such as forced impregnation and severe injuries. She believed that the aliens had complete control over the minds of humans, using psychic technology to manipulate their perceptions and even memories. And this is on Hows and Whys by Vicky Verma. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.